Yeah, inshallah, in this course, I'm going to explain the meaning of tasawwuf or Sufism, what it means, and also the teachings of tasawwuf, what are the basic teachings. The Sufis have been teaching all the time, and the difference between what they call hal and maqam, and what are different types of the hals and maqams. So that, inshallah, I'm going to explain in much details. And also, is there any influence of non-Islamic culture tradition on the Sufism? Because it's one of the things that an accusation came against the Sufis, that has some ideas or some practices which has come from the non-Islamic sources. So we're going to analyze that and understand, read in more detail. So, sources of the tasawwuf, this also will be covered in this course, and history of the tasawwuf. So how the tasawwuf started and what are the main orders in tasawwuf silsilas. Like in Indian subcontinent we have got Chishti silsila and Naqshbandi, Sohrawardi, Qadiri, Shattari, and also people have got, like in some North African countries, silsila like Shadiliya, Rifaiya, Tijaniya, so many. So we have to study what this silsila mean, what this order means, and we are coming from that, and what actually are their authenticity. So this also will be covered in this course. So I think first day I'll just spend to explain this introduction, the meaning and the development of the tasawwuf and its brief history and the silsilas and orders. And then after that, few sessions will be on the major texts in tasawwuf, like a Risala of Imam Qushayri, and that's a very important text in tasawwuf. Actually one of the basic texts from which everybody has been taking. And Imam Qushayri was also a great muhaddith. So his text is very important in a way that he makes effort to find those practices which are more authentic. But that actually is the major source for tasawwuf of the later periods. So this text we will study in detail, and then after that other major works of tasawwuf which people always have been studying and in circulation, like Ihya Ulumuddin of Imam Ghazali. So we spend time on that. It is a very beneficial book, but also we have to look really what are the major sources of this book, and what where Imam Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala has got his information, especially about hadith, where actually there's so many hadiths in Ihya which are weak or munkar, or some of them even fabricated. So that will be analyzed as well. And also some other texts like Mathnavi of Ma'arum. So for a long time in the history of tasawwuf, especially in the east part of Muslim world, Mathnavi of Ma'arum has been very popular, and people used to read them after the Quran. Some people actually call them Quran of Persian language. So that is also one of the things we're going to study. The few texts, I think al-hikam of Ataullah al-Iskandari, because it's also very popular and so much wisdom there. So at least one day introduction and some part of the hikam, and the end Talbis Iblis is very important, because though it is actually not a book of tasawwuf, but Imam Ibn Jawzi rahimahullah ta'ala is very much aware of the problems that ulama and Sufis face, and sometimes shaitan can come them and mislead them. So it is very important work to understand how shaitan can also influence the expert of the hadith and the fiqh, and also the great shuyukh of the tasawwuf. So so we're going to study part of Talbis Iblis as well in this course, inshallah. So the purpose actually is very important, because the tasawwuf has become part of the Islamic tradition for a long time, and it happened actually nearly around 1,000 years that you hardly find any good alim who is not also Sufi. So tasawwuf and Islamic science, they become more combined in later centuries in most part of Muslim world. In Indian subcontinent and in Syria, in Iraq, you find people at the same time, they're ulama, but at the same time they're also Sufis. So this is actually very important to learn why tasawwuf was so important in Islam for such a long period. And also tasawwuf has played a very important role in spreading Islam in many parts of the world. So like many North African countries, in Islam came there only through the Sufis. Even actually in India and part of Far East, Islam came through many of these Sufi people. So we have to learn about them, their history, what actually they've done, and what their main teaching, why people have been so much influenced by their way of life. So it is important to know for our culture and for our tradition. basically the course is for anybody, Muslims and non-Muslims who are interested, and also for the students who want to know the history of these people, and also who want to know what these texts are and what the main teachings are there. It is for everybody. The thing is, tasawwuf actually I always am interested anyway. I've been, we have been part of the tasawwuf tradition in India for a long, long time. I have also my sheikh, and we have bay'ah and all those things, and I have spent so much time in Sufi khanqahs. So I know many things, good things about tasawwuf, and also things which are, harmful. And also I spent actually so much time in research. In Oxford, one of the main research that I was involved for around 20 years. It actually is about history of tasawwuf and silsilas and centers of Sufi people. So alhamdulillah, I learned about tasawwuf more than many ulama, because this thing I spent so many years, around 20 years, to reading the text and history and the practices in all those things. So that's how my country. But necessarily, I'm not a Sufi in that term. As people think. I think really, for me, it is important to learn about tasawwuf. But we have to aware really that our criteria always should be the Book of Allah, the Quran, and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ.